Welcome to Nudge University. I'm Dr. Steve Feyrer-Melk, and today I'm going to talk about the Nudge app data and passive versus active data collection. When it comes to gaining information from a client or a patient, accuracy and ease of collection of that data is so important. So in order to best set up a motivational environment for our patients or clients, we need to decide if we're going to be using active or passive data and how we will introduce that to them. So passive and active data play a major impact on the reliability of getting that information from your clients. So in the case of passive information, you're going to have more reliability because the patient or the client will just basically wear a wearable device and forget about it. So in the case of the Nudge app, you have options of collecting different types of variables. And the one that I want to focus on first is a passive one, which is activity. Now it can also be active, but we're going to focus first on it being a passive variable because we can sync a wearable device to the app, which allows that information to flow freely into the Nudge app and therefore the Nudge Coach page. So syncing a wearable device is pretty darn easy. Basically go to the sync page and click on, for this example, I'll use Fitbit. It will automatically take the individual to the login page, type in the login information. Naturally, they would already have a Fitbit account. And then this will take them to an option of what to allow to be synced. And I always recommend that they just sync everything. It makes it easy. It's a click of a button. Just click allow, and it takes that information directly to the Nudge app. So now you will have a free flow of information from the wearable device to the Nudge app and then to the Health Coach platform. Very simple for everyone involved, and that is the key. So here you see that the 772 steps of activity from the wearable is brought into the Nudge app and then to the Health Coach site. And when you look at the nudge factor, you'll see that there's grayed out areas, and the only one that is green is activity because that is the one that is being tracked. Other areas that are considered passive when it comes to data collection within this app are sleep. And sleep is one that if someone wears a wearable while they sleep, which they will get used to, will pull in that data very simply and without any inconvenience. And in this case, you can see that that area is being lit up now in the nudge factor to show that that sleep is now being gathered. So now you have two areas that are being gathered that are passive, which makes it very simple for the patient or the client. Let's take a look at active data collection, and one good example that we all would like to get is nutrition, but we have to keep it simple. So in the case of the Nudge app, we look at nutrition and we select the areas that we want to collect data on: fruits, vegetables, proteins, and then those will show up on the Nudge app login page so that the patient can easily tap in serving sizes. This is very simple and the reliability is very high because it is simple. So if you tap on fruit and you click in the plus sign, you get that number of servings. If you look at vegetables, same thing, you get that amount of servings. And if you click on proteins, you click the number of servings. Very simple. There's even a serving guide on below that can be clicked on if they have questions. So if you look at the nudge factor, now there are three areas that are being collected, and there's one grayed out, which is the water, which is another active type of data collection. And so if we go and we go to the options page and put in the hydration and add water as a variable to collect, that can be actively collected by clicking on the amount of water. And so you basically click on the water, you do the plus, for every 8 ounces is a serving. This also teaches what serving sizes are, clicking the pluses and always the check mark afterwards. So we also need to keep in mind that if someone does not have a wearable and we want to get that information from them, we can just use the app in an active type of data collection. This is not recommended, but it is pretty easy as it is when it comes to those passive areas that we usually track with wearables. For example, activity. It's easy for us to select different areas of activity like weights or an elliptical or walking and have our patients or clients actively put that information in. So these three different variables show up on the Nudge app. Let's say they do not have a wearable device and they can go ahead and tap in the information. So for example, if it's walking, they can click that and they can say, oh, I went for a walk, and how long did I walk for? And they simply have to put in 30 for a 30-minute walk. If they did weights, they would say, okay, I did a weight workout today. How many minutes did I do that? Oh, I did it for 30 minutes. And the same is true with elliptical or others. So now this information will be brought into the Nudge Coach site so that you can get the information you need. So there are other active data collections that can occur is indulgences, tapping those in, weight. Weight can actually also be passive if they have a scale that downloads. So those things can be selected, and notes even. So they can tap in notes that will go to you in your Nudge Coach site to find out information about them. Not things that they have questions for you about, but just for them to keep track of things that they believe is valuable. And you may want them to keep track of how they feel in a certain day, how many stress points they have, just to make them more aware of how they feel in certain areas or aware in their behaviors. And that's a good journaling type of addition that you can have. When it comes to suites and collecting information, this is a great way to have your clients or patients become more aware of the amount that they're having in a day. So they just basically click on suites and then tap in the amount that they've had. Usually I talk about it in terms of serving sizes or numbers of those items. Alcohol is another area that I have them go ahead and track if that is an issue that I would like to track. Again, makes them more aware of the amount that they're having. And finally, weight. Weight can be passive if they have a scale, but also can be tapped in very easily with pounds or if they have the percentage of body fat scale. So collecting data both passively and actively from patients and clients is very critical in our ability to health coach. Now I'm set up here to collect every area. I would not or would never recommend doing this with a patient or a client. You phase this in slowly and work gradually for behavior change. So in this case, if you look at the nudge factor, all areas are lit up, which means all areas are being tracked. So this should give you a pretty good overview of the Nudge app when it comes to tracking and passive versus active data. Remember, start out slowly, use passive data collection as often as possible, and good luck.